Hello everyone and welcome to session 3 of the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. My name is Randie Henderson and I am one of the Black Feminist Reading Circle members of this online group. This session runs from January 20th until June 2nd and includes 2 week-long breaks. Our democratically selected reading material is Harriet A. Washington's book, Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. Our book group meets each Tuesday evening from 6:30 to 8 on the Google Plus Hangouts on Air platform. You may find the Global Black Feminist Reader Circle on Google Plus, YouTube, and Facebook, and always feel free to join us in reading our story together.
Welcome everyone to the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. We are here on Google Plus each Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are currently in session 3, reading our 3rd book, Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. And you can learn more about us at our community page on Google Plus, or our archived videos on YouTube, or on our Facebook page. This session is running through June 16th, 2015, which means we are coming on down the road. And tonight, we are going to be reading Chapter 13, Infection and Inequity, Illness as a Crime. My name is Michelle Odom. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Reading Circle, along with Randie Danielle Henderson, and I'm located in Brooklyn, New York.
Hello, my name is Randie and I am watching from Atlanta, and I'm again happy to see everybody tonight.
My name is Venita Walker, and I'm joining you from Connecticut. Welcome to the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle.
Hey, everyone.
Adhere.
Georgette Moses, participating from Columbia, South Carolina. And I'm glad my power came back on so I could join you all.
Yes, hi, everyone. Hope you're feeling well. I'm calling you from Utah. Oh, I'm Kim Brandon, and I'm in New York also.
I'm Joel Jones from Charleston, South Carolina. How's everybody doing?
We good.
Good.
Summary. In Chapter 13, author Harriet A. Washington offers an overview of public health responses to 2 major contagions, tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS. She highlights the ways in which these responses have played out very differently for African Americans and our children than for whites, including use of containment therapy or hospital imprisonment to force victims to adhere to a particular schedule of medication, the use of Black babies and children as research subjects to discover vaccines and cures when they have been orphaned or come under control of the state, and lack of interest in drugs that appear to primarily hold promise for Blacks. She includes examples to illustrate how biased research, inequitable and inhumane policies, and dangerous abuse of powers have shaped the uncomfortably close relationship between African Americans and infectious disease. Unhealthy places and, what's that?
Decadent.
Decadent times infect us by their contagion.
Well, I know one of the worst foster DSS systems in the country, South Carolina, has had more kids, I think, killed under this governor's care for the
Wow.
lack of funding than any place in the union. I think they accredit South Carolina for having 47 children to die up under this lady's watch inside the DSS system for one reason or other, to include the foster system. I think, in my opinion, and when when you're talking about scarcity of resources, and when you have starting with the last administration to say that we're going to put those people who can best help people, we're going to give the money to help agencies like churches and whatnot. I think that society in itself is saying, okay, pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of thing. It's not our responsibility for our children, for our poor and whatnot. We're gonna, basically do charity to appease, a bunch of scribes and Pharisees on both sides, so they can both do dirty things to the people. And nobody's held accountable, because it's not our fault. They just, piggyback on that phrase that Jesus said, the poor be with you always, but don't forget the dogs and the cats. We need to make sure we take care of them little bastards. But that's just my opinion.
Thank you. I wanted to ask Georgette and Venita if they wanted to add anything, because it's 8 o'clock and I guess it's almost time to close.
Thank you, Kim. I don't have anything to add.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that I found out that South Carolina, well, southern states have the most HIV cases in the country. And they have the worst laws in regards to it. And most of them don't want to expand Medicare under the Affordable Care Act to help these HIV infected people.
That's religious based too. That's Southern Baptist crap. Morality type thing.
Explain that, please.
Huh?
Explain that, Joel, because I'm not from the Bible Belt, so I don't know how they do it now.
Well, it's one of those things. It's like, hey, you haven't, it's a homosexual disease, and God is killing you for sinning. One of those type of things, or you're having sex, and that's all that kind of crap is all about.
So that's coming from the black folks down there and the white folks down there.
Oh yeah. See, and you see, you got to understand. It's two things that go together down here: Southern Baptists and pimps in the pulpit that are black. Okay.
Because they're in denial because they thrown about. Huh?
I said pimps in the pulpit and Southern Baptists, they go together down here. Okay.
Maybe I'm slow, and I am slow.
Our black preachers down here, they go together with the Southern Baptists. One thing that I do believe is that a lot of these ministers down here, they get politicians that make them feel like they're a part of something, and they march in the same tune with the Southern Baptists, which are white down here. So your black preachers and your white preachers, they get together and they preach the same morality,
Right. You have a conference.
Yeah. And they get their marching orders. And, it's homosexuals and people that are having unprotected sex and fornicating and everything, and God is having his wrath among them.
So in other words, the black folks down there, the black churches that are also responsible for the stigmatization.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a fact.
Okay. So
behavior problem.
Yeah, I mean, God is having his way. He's having his wrath on them. Well, I'm probably gonna get A up
Okay.
online and have a few comments on that, but
Venita, you
I'm just trying to
breaking up.
I'm just trying to understand because it's always been. I thought that we were at times people were suggesting that our communities come together with the fabulous black minister. I'm not a Bible thrower, as you probably have already guessed.
okay.
And so we can get together and talk about our problems, so we can start to formulate something or a way to try to help us solve our problems. So you telling me that with the highest rate being in the United States in the southern part of this country, where's the highest concentration of black folks, obviously, that they can't really turn to the church.
Oh no! You better not go to the church talking about you're committing fornication, passing out birth control pills and condoms and stuff like that. Abstinence is the only way. No, that ain't never happening down here.
Okay, I just want to make that perfectly clear. So in other words, it's not just the white folks killing us; we killing ourselves.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Well, Randie is probably our most religious member. How do you
I got you. I understand that. I just want to.
Are you asking how do I feel about what Joel's saying?
Yes.
I completely agree in terms of Baptists. Baptists are quite strict, which is why I got out the church.
Don't go to Koji. Don't go to Church of God in Christ. I
haven't been to church. We started going back to church in March. Before that, I hadn't been to church since my grandmother's funeral in 2012, and she was very, very religious. The prayer warrior, as we called her. She was also my grandmother. She was also, bless her heart, extremely anti-black and very light-skinned. And she loved us though. She never treated us any differently, but she loved her white people, man. And she was, really upset with me when I got my hair locked, and when Mikey would come visit me in school, she'd always ask if he was sleeping on the floor, and she was really strange. But I did love her. But I agree. I think that, which is why I had got out of church, because I felt like I wasn't really finding a church home that wasn't homophobic, that was actually helping the community. And frankly, the main churches like that will actually, you will find in the communities, are the white ones.
Because they recognize.
They just are, not the white Baptists, but like the white churches. The white non-denominational churches are the ones that are a little bit more tolerant. The church we're going to now is Victory World Church. We haven't become members yet, but the pastor has said some things against like homosexuality, whatever. But it's not nothing I don't expect as someone who identifies as a Christian. But during the sermons, I never feel like anybody's being condemned. I never feel like anybody's, he's not telling anybody going to hell, which is what you would definitely find in the Baptist church, as I'm sure everybody has experienced.
I haven't.
Well, yeah, it's a big deal here in the South, but I think that I don't know what it is. I think that religiously we ruin God, and all forms of religion really, but mainly Christian, because that's the only one I associated with. But we've ruined God, and we ruined and we made him out to be like this cruel, Old Testament, never, ashamed, hates you, hates everything you do. And I'm very thankful for my mom, because she wasn't really she went to church, but she had us very young, and they treated her differently, obviously, because she was a teenage mother who had 2 girls before she was 18. And so I've had a little bit more realistic view about what God accepts, and my mom is the only one out of all her sisters who did it the right way, who has her own house, who's been working a job for the longest, she seems to be more blessed in that sense. If you're like gonna hierarchy somebody being blessed, and so it goes against how you're supposed to be punished by God. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people in the South, like Joel was saying, they will have you thinking, everything you do, you ate today, you're gonna go to hell, or something. God is this I don't know, this tyrant, and I think that's definitely kept a lot of people out of the church. A lot of people ashamed, which correlates directly to me with medicine. Nobody's going to get treated for what, if they're sick, if how they got it was through sin. They don't want anybody to know. And I think that it all comes together.
Hey, hey, Michelle, let me tell you what's happening down south. Like Randy said, your non-denominational, multicultural churches. They recognize something. Um, they recognize that African Americans are probably the most religious, loyal people that you will ever find. And they also found out that what they started doing when you have all these pimps, these prosperity churches and whatnot that are not offering anything, these churches like the one that Randy goes to probably offer an array of different ministries that involve people and outreach programs, and you'll find a lot of African American, affluent African American, middle class, high middle class that are gravitating from these prosperity churches and these traditional black churches and even Koji, I was raised Church of God in Christ, and they're going somewhere that someone is offering something and is really siphoning off the opportunities or the resources of the black church in itself, and they're losing. I can count a bunch of them around here that are doing the same thing. And here you have a interracial congregation that's basically most of the time is led by a Caucasian, and all of this money and this wealth and talent that are African Americans that are in these churches, and because that black church has actually failed in the
Right.
South.
I subscribe to Joyce Myers. I
Right.
really, right, because she's very, pragmatic and outspoken, and it's non-denominational.
What I originally was trying to understand, not about the black ministry of the church, as far as the religious aspects of it, what I was trying to understand is where do people turn to when your own people are condemning you in the only place, one of the very few places you're supposed to be able to go for help. So white folks is just not the only folks that's killing us that might account for why the AIDS epidemic is going up in that portion of the country. Because you can't go to your own people.
Exactly.
You go to the liquor store.
You've never ever been able to go to the black church historically for teen pregnancy
Depression.
or anything like that. I mean, we've never been that way.
What I'm trying to say is that, excuse me, that just because it was done that way before, we are in 2015.
Oh, we've not, but there's nothing that's we've not evolved. We've not evolved.
I can't imagine, and maybe I'm just ignorant to the facts, that in 2015, the attitude is still that of 30, 40, 50 years ago. Something else is going on.
Because God that walked the earth when Jesus is the same God, and he got the same word, and he's not going to move, because on this rock I build my church, and that's how we believe it.
All right. Okay. I'm done.
I think
I'm
this
sorry.
is
I'm done.
I think the younger generations now are having some consciousness. They're becoming conscious.
I've been conscious, and I'm not in this generation.
Yeah, but I'm referring to the younger generation, like my kids. They all seem, they're hipping me, they're hooking me up to people like Tommy Masorta or Black Authority.
Tony Maya?
Yeah. Bobby Heenan. I'm thinking of them.
Sotomayor. Well, I'm not talking about that. I am talking about Edwina, that as black folks, and we had a high population of AIDS epidemic in the southern states, if we can't turn to ourselves in our churches, how are we going to sit and talk about the white man want us killed? I don't understand where we're going to go from here. I don't understand where we're going to go, where you go. And I just find it hard to believe. I believe you, because I believe down south anything is possible. but I just don't, I have a hard time believing that with that information in the southern part of our country, black folks, that this is happening in 2015. I just have a problem with black folks not having, and a high population of people there, a community within the church, which may account for a lot more of the higher incidence of AIDS, because they're being turned away and condemned. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. I just wanted to say it's a quarter after, and Venita, I think we may need another book on religious apartheid.
I don't even want to know about it. I'm done. I'm done. It's too much for me. I'm tired. I can't believe it. I just need to not think about this right now. It goes beyond my thinking. It really does. And I do pride myself of being a contemporary person. But I swear I must be out of touch with my people, because this is new to me.
No, I'm well aware of this. But before we end, I wanted to leave you with a little story. And since we're talking about the church, it's about the church. And I had taken my daughter to a watch night. That's when New Year's Eve you go to church.
Yeah.
And she must have been 4 or 5. And we had always gone to these very progressive churches. And they had speakers that were taller than maybe 8, 9 feet. And the music was so loud it was hurting her ears. And so she said, "Mommy, what is this?" And I said, "This is church." And she said, "What is this?" I said, "This is church." And she started screaming, "I hate church! I hate church! Church I hate! I hate church!" And so the waters started to part. And people started moving away from us. Whenever I want a good laugh, I just kind of remember.
Hey, you've been in my church every exorcism.
She was screaming, "I hate church!" And I think they were going to bless her or something real quick.
Right. Thousands of babes.
But there are good churches. I don't want to say that every church is awful, but I do have an issue when it's somewhere in the Bible it says, "Pray to God, but row to shore." And so my goal for my life is always to row to shore, and not to think that I'm going to wait for God to solve all my problems.
Right.
Amen.